I have recognized that all this and my body are nothing, while my true self is nothing but pure consciousness. So what can the imagination work on now? The body, heaven and hell, bondage and liberation, and fear too, all this is active imagination. What is there left to do for one whose very nature is consciousness? Truly, I do not see dualism even in a crowd of people. What pleasure should I have when it has turned into a wilderness? I am not the body, nor is the body mine. I am not a living being, I am consciousness. It was my thirst for living that was my bondage. Truly, it is in the limitless ocean of myself, stimulated by the colorful waves of the worlds, that everything suddenly rises in the wind of consciousness. It is in the limitless ocean of myself that the wind of thought subsides. The trader-like living creature's world arc is now dry-docked by lack of goods. How wonderful it is that in the limitless ocean of myself, the waves of living beings arise, collide, play, and disappear according to their natures. ASHTAVAKRA said, knowing yourself as truly one and indestructible, how could a wise man like you, one possessing self-knowledge, feel any pleasure in acquiring wealth? Truly, when one does not know oneself, one takes pleasure in the objects of mistaken perception, just as greed for its seeming silver arises in one who does not know mother of pearl for what it is. All this wells up like waves in the sea. Recognizing I am that, why run around like someone in need? After hearing of oneself as pure consciousness and the supremely beautiful, is one to go on lusting after sordid, sensual objects? When the sage has realized that one is oneself in all beings and all beings are in oneself, it is astonishing that the sense of individuality should be able to continue. It is astonishing that a person who has reached the supreme non-dual state and is intent on the benefits of liberation should still be subject to lust and be held back by the desire to copulate. It is astonishing that one already very debilitated and knowing very well that sensual arousal is the enemy of knowledge should still eagerly hanker after concupiscence even when approaching one's last days. It is astonishing that one who is unattached to the things of this world or the next, who discriminates between the permanent and the impermanent, and who longs for liberation, should still feel fear for liberation. Whether fated or tormented, the wise person is always aware of the supreme self-nature and is neither expectant nor disappointed. The great-souled person sees even one's own body in action as if it were someone else's. So how can then be disturbed by praise or blame? Seeing this world as pure illusion and devoid of any interest in it, how should the strong-minded person feel fear even at the approach of death? Who is to be compared to the great-souled person whose mind is free of desire, free of expectation and disappointment, and who has found satisfaction in self-knowledge? How should a strong-minded person, who knows that whatever is seen is by its very nature nothing, how then consider one thing to be grasped and another to be rejected? For someone who has eliminated attachment and who is free from dualism and from desire and from repulsion, for such a person an object that comes of itself is neither painful nor pleasurable. ASHTAVAKRA said, certainly the wise person of self-knowledge playing the game of worldly life bears no resemblance whatever to the world's bewildered beasts of burden. Truly the one centered in mystic union feels no excitement even at being established in that state which all the gods from Indra down yearn for disconsolately. He who has known that is untouched within by good deeds or bad, just as the sky is not touched by smoke, however much it may appear to be. Who can prevent the great-souled person who has known this whole world as oneself from living as one pleases? Of all the four categories of beings from Brahma down to the driest clump of grass, only the person of knowledge is capable of eliminating desire and aversion. Rare is the person who knows oneself as the undivided Lord of the world. No fear occurs to one who lives the truth. ASHTAVAKRA said, you are not bound by anything. What does a pure person like you need to renounce? Putting the complex organism to rest, you can go to your rest. All this arises out of you like a bubble out of the sea. Knowing yourself like this to be one, to be but one, you can go to your rest. In spite of being in front of your eyes, all this being insubstantial does not exist in you, spotless as you are. It is an appearance like the snake in a rope, so you can go to your rest. Equal in pain and in pleasure, equal in hope and in disappointment, equal in life and in death, and complete as you are, you can go to your rest. ASHTAVAKRA said, I am infinite like space, and the natural world is like a jar. To know this is knowledge, and then there is neither renunciation, acceptance, or cessation of it. I am like the ocean, and the multiplicity of objects is comparable to a wave. To know this is knowledge, and here there is neither renunciation, acceptance, or cessation of it. I am like the mother of pearl, and the imagined world is like the silver. To know this is knowledge, and here there is neither renunciation, acceptance, or cessation of it. Alternatively, I am in all beings, and all beings are in me. To know this is knowledge, and here there is neither renunciation, acceptance, or cessation of it. Janak said, It is in the infinite ocean of myself that the world arc wanders here and there, driven by its own wind. I am not upset by that. Let the world wave of its own nature rise or vanish in the infinite ocean of myself. There is no increase or diminution to me from it. It is in the infinite ocean of myself that the imagination called the world takes place. I am supremely peaceful and formless, and as such I remain. My true nature is not contained in objects, nor does any object exist in it, for it is infinite and spotless, so it is unattached, desireless, and at peace, and as such I remain. Truly I am but pure consciousness, and the world is like a conjurer's show. So how could I imagine there is anything here to take up or reject? ASHTAVAKRA said, Bondage is when the mind longs for something, grieves about something, rejects something, holds on to something, is pleased about something, or displeased about something. Liberation is when the mind does not long for anything, grieve about anything, reject anything, or hold on to anything, and is not pleased about anything or displeased about anything. Bondage is when the mind is tangled in one of the senses, and liberation is when the mind is not tangled in any of the senses. When there is no me, that is liberation, and when there is me, there is bondage. Considering this earnestly, I do not hold on and do not reject. ASHTAVAKRA said, Knowing when the dualism of things done and undone has been put to rest, or the person for whom they occur has been cognized, then you can here and now go beyond renunciation and obligations by indifference to such things. Rare indeed, my dearest, is the lucky person whose observation of the world's behavior has led to the extinction of the thirst for living, for pleasure, and for knowledge. All this is impermanent and spoiled by the three sorts of pain. Recognizing it to be insubstantial, contemptible, and only fit for indifference, one attains peace. When was that age or time of life when the dualism of extremes did not exist for people? Abandoning them, a person happy to take whatever comes suddenly realizes perfection. Who does not end up with indifference to such things and attain peace when he has seen the differences of opinions among the great sages, saints, and yogis? Is he not a guru who, endowed with dispassion and equanimity, achieves full knowledge of the nature of consciousness and so leads others out of samsara? If you would just see the transformations of the elements as nothing more than the elements, then you would immediately be freed from all bonds and established in your own nature. One's inclinations are samsara. Knowing this, abandon them. The renunciation of them is the renunciation of it. Now you can remain as you are. ASHTAVAKRA said, Abandoning desire, the enemy, along with gain, itself so full of loss, and the good deeds which are the cause of the other two, I practice indifference to everything. I look on such things as friends, land, money, property, wife, and bequests as nothing but a dream or a 3 or 5 day conjurer's show. Wherever a desire occurs, I see samsara in it. Establishing myself in firm dispassion, I be free of passion and happy.